Yo, what's going on, YGG SEA fam? It's your host, Darth Shi. Welcome to another episode of our AMAs. Today we have Rooniverse, and there's going to be three special guests today, so it's going to be pretty interesting. First, we have our first guest, um, German. He's one of the co-founders. Where's German? German is here. Let's see.
Hey guys, it's Herman. I'm co-founder and head of operations here at Rooniverse and XP Foundry, the studio under which we're building the game. So yeah, should I? how much should I introduce myself here?
Up to you. We can bring in the other two co-founders, or you can just start first.
Sure, yeah. Let's bring the other two guys as well.
All right. Next, we have James, who's also a co-founder.
Hey everyone,
James.
James here, co-founder XP Foundry. Hello.
Yep, we can hear you.
All right, awesome. Good to meet you all. Yeah, I manage development over here at XP Foundry.
And last but not
And
least,
similar to Herman, I'm not exactly sure how much I should introduce myself, so I'll hold off.
yes, and last but not least, we have Melty, who's also another co-founder.
Hey guys, what's up? I sound like I've lost my voice, and that's because I have. But I'm here.
Yeah, Melty will not speak a lot today because she has a big fever and her voice is a little bit broken. But yeah.
All right, I guess we'll direct most of the questions to Herman then instead of Melty.
Woo! Yes, that's bullish.
Or you could just turn off your mic and turn on your video, right? That would probably be better so we know who we're looking at. But yeah, would you guys want to give like a quick intro for each person? I guess Melty, since you aren't able to talk, I guess we can pass the mic over to Herman first, and then James.
Sure. Yeah. So here I manage operations. So I'm the guy who's doing all the things that nobody wants to do, like corporate structure, dealing with lawyers, accounting, all that boring stuff, but also fun stuff like tokenomics, hiring, growth strategies as well. My background is in economy and game theory. So I studied economics until I just started a career as poker player. So I was an online poker pro for 10 years. I was playing the highest stakes online, up to 15 tables at the same time. That was until 2015, which is when I decided to just, I got a bit tired of being a poker pro for so many years. And I started a growth marketing agency for mobile apps and games. So we were doing lots of media buy, especially for on social traffic, pop advertising. We were spending a couple $1 million per month driving traffic to mobile apps and games. So I'm not a game builder myself, but I have some. I have worked more on the user acquisition side for games. I've been running growth teams as well for tech startups for a few years, and now since back in August last year, I'm fully focused on Rooniverse. So yeah, that's a bit for myself. Maybe now, well, I will talk a little bit about Melty as well before I pass the mic to James. So Melty, she cannot speak much today, but she has worked with me in the past in the user acquisition agency. She was the creative lead, and she's also the creative lead at Rooniverse. She has a background in film theory, and also she is in the council, in the Metaverse Council of the Global Esports Federation since this year. So this is a new team that, Global Esports Federation is a pretty big esports Web2 traditional esports organization, and this year they created a Metaverse Council, for start integrating Web3 games in the activities that they do. And they appointed Melty as one of the members at the council. And maybe I'm missing stuff, but I didn't really prepare for with a guy who
Thank
talks.
you so much.
Yeah.
That was cool. No, I can continue a little bit. I do have a background in IP purchase and distribution for Hollywood IP, so that includes film, TV, and video games. And yeah, I used to organize Comic-Con in Southeast Asia, mostly Thailand. That was a while ago though, and Herman and I actually in 2017 we co-founded a really cool narrative-driven immersive music festival. Which I was the creative director of, but now we are full-time on Rooniverse with our cool game director James Finley and our game producer James Chong, who can't make it today. But I will let James Finley introduce himself, and if he misses anything, we'll fill it in for him.
Thanks so much, Melty. Hey everyone, I'm James. I'm the game director at XP Foundry. Let's see. So I've been working on video games for somewhere around 17, 18 years or so. I got started back when mobile phones were like just starting to like become a really big thing. So these are like your iPhones and your Androids, and recognized that there was some in the mobile space. And also around that time, the Nintendo Wii was coming out and was sort of like a big deal. As was, maybe I'm just dating myself here, but this is also around the time frame when toys and video games and virtual and physical products were coming together. So this was like the Skylanders sort of like a sort of time frame. So yeah, I got into the game space, worked at some startups, and yeah, just kind of really just built the portfolio up from there. It's been awesome working on projects tied to huge IPs, Batman, Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog, Star Wars. I'm like a huge like gamer myself, and also like a really big geek. And so being able to participate with products in the game space that are like directly tied to IP that I've grown up with and continue to love has just been really fantastic. I'd say that probably what draws me more than anything these days is just working on cool stuff. Because after you've been working on something for a long period of time, you need to add some sort of spice that changes things up. And I recall that very early on, I was just super thrilled to be working in video games, like period. But as I progressed in my career, I knew that I wanted to do things that were interesting, that were really pushing the envelope, attempting to do something pioneering, and just really be different. So yeah, I'd say that the last like maybe like 7 years or so of my career has been trying to pursue things that are just that are really out there and are just sort of doing the next thing in games. The other thing that really drives me connected with really talented and engaged people, which is it's a reason why I'm here. It's a reason why it's a reason why I went to be a director at Unity Studios for 5 years. It's a reason why I've founded teams. I just love connecting people who have ideas and enabling them to see those ideas all the way through to completion. And video games are like the perfect medium for that. When you look at games, you need so many different people from so many disciplines. You need folks who are engineers, you need artists, you need storytellers, folks. Like you just need so many different people. And it's very rare to operate in a field where you get to interact with such high performing, brilliant individuals working on creative things every single day. So Herman opened up by saying that his job is kind of the job that nobody else wants, and I think that I'm the opposite. My job is the one that everybody wants. So super lucky that way, and I'm super lucky to be here.
Very true,
Wow,
James.
that was that was amazing. That like got to hear all three of your stories. I actually have one
I
question before we start, which is I know Herman and Melty met like back in 2017. How did you guys all meet James?
Oh, wait. I actually met Herman in 2015.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was also when he introduced me to pretty much cryptocurrency. Well, not
Oh,
him, like our company, but mostly him. He is somebody who, if he wants to deep dive into something, he gets really into it. So, within our digital marketing agency, which we founded together, I learned the most from him. I was in the creative department. He was in operations department, so I learned the most from him. I met James Chong, who's not here today. I know we have a few Jameses today, but James Chong isn't here today. He is like, he's our fourth co-founder. He's like the dad of our company. He used to be the art director at Electronic Arts. He shipped 2 Call of Duty games with Infinity Ward as well. Bunch of games under his belt. I met him actually around the same time as Herman, around the same time as JPEG Maxi, but they didn't know each other back then. And I did the introduction in 2021. So that was last year. And by mid 2021 was when James Chong said, let me get one of my friends, James Finley, who I think you guys will love. And we had a group of us, the four of us, and we were talking about how we were actually complaining. We were actually complaining. We were actually saying, a lot of Web3 games were not super, super fun. And what we wanted to do was build a game that was super, super fun that had all the other amazing things attached to it as well. And that's what we kind of set out to do with Rooniverse. I think maybe Herman and James can add a little bit more to that. But that's how we basically met.
Yeah, James connected us. So James Chung, before he and I became, like, again, I'm a fan of games, and he had founded a studio that was working on a game that I was like just a complete fan of and eagerly awaiting its release. And it was a game that was very VR focused back when VR focused when you could focus on a VR game and have that be a big part of your strategy. Um, and unfortunately, virtual reality games at that time just really hit a downturn with investment. And so, being both a fan of games and a developer, I reached out to James Chung and said, "Hey, instead of you just like not making this game anymore," so it was like this really like bullish opportunity to. I don't want to take this this metaphor too far, but grab that bull by the horns and say like, hey, I don't want this game to go away. I want to participate in it. So we then took over as the development team behind World War Tunes, and that was how I really connected with James Chung. So yeah, we became fast friends. I'm also like pretty hardcore introverted, and it's hard to get me to meet people. But James Chung is always trying to get me to meet people, and so he was just like, "Hey, I have to introduce you to these two. They're doing some really interesting stuff and have some fantastic ideas. I want it to be in the game space." And I'm just like, "Okay, James. Well, I will meet them, but you know how I am about meeting people, and here we are."
Yeah, that's interesting story. I mean, I've met quite a few co-founders that are also introverts, so don't feel weirded out. I mean, you're pretty. It's definitely I'm the minority here. It's three against one, so don't feel too introverted. But yeah, that's I'm glad that Melty was able to talk because I think her voice came back. So hopefully we'll get to hear more from Melty later.
Thank you.
But yeah, so jumping in, my first question of the night is, how does Rooniverse accommodate different playstyles in PvP matches?
Oh, let's
Yeah,
get
good
James on
question.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so if you take a look at like a lot of the present landscape of games, you kind of have a dichotomy between two different ways that you account for player agency. So on the one side, you have player agency is 100% dictated by what this is going to be. Games like I don't know, like Overwatch, where a player selects a character. That character comes with a kit, has a play style, and the player kind of conforms to that play style, or you don't. I mean, you players of course have some control there, but if you play a very speedy scout sort of character as though they are a tanky heavy character, like you're probably not going to do super well. So that's one path, and that's a path that we've completely veered away from. So the path that I'm sort of talking about is really maximizing player agency through customization. And so Rue environment where players can start with a Rue shell that has a base set of capabilities that all other Rues have. But then from there, you get to build upon that and establish your own sort of custom play style, and also cater that play style to what it is that you're trying to achieve in a particular game mode, or in a particular meta, or what have you. So in Rooniverse, you're capable of outfitting your Ruse with weapons, which we call toys, which play very dramatically different from one another. I play a bunch of Destiny, and so if you're familiar with Destiny, how they behave very, very different from one another, that's kind of like in the vein of what we're targeting for the toys in Rooniverse. The ability to equip gears, providing you with passives and actives. We still have a lot of the staples that you might expect from a Royale style of game, interactive environment, the semi-random placement of characters, and these opportunities for power struggle based on collecting items in the environment. These are all emergent elements that do exist, but what players are able to take with them into that, I think sets us apart. Players have lots and lots of customization, and we are just thrilled to see what that revolving meta, the conversation surrounding what's good and what's not, and players really surprising us with their choices.
Nice. Anyone else have to add on top of that, or?
Yeah, no, I think that pretty much covers it. We do have a lot of items that are like equipable items that are very relevant in customizing a player's playstyle. So that includes the toy, which is the weapon. That's probably one of the main ones. We have gears. You can equip 3 per match. That gives you your passive skills. We have command courses, which teach your Rue permanent active skills. And we have consumable pills, which you can craft and bring a limited amount into each match. And they basically give you like a temporary power boost.
Nice.
So all of those things together, you should, if you wanted to, be able to make a build that suits your particular playstyle. Or if you have multiple routes, you can make multiple builds, of course.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, I was a huge Dota fan, so I've played so many different characters that, like, building characters based off of how the lane works and whatnot. It's always fun to know that the players themselves get to customize their own character.
Yeah, for sure. And that's on top of cosmetics that will, slowly be releasing over the expansions also. But we really want to focus first on, delivering a cool experience that people can say, okay, I want to play in this style or in that style. I want to be really quick and mobile, or I want to be really tanky, big, have a lot of defense. They can always try different things.
Yeah. Sweet. So my next question is, how will matchmaking work in Rooniverse?
Yeah, good
Oh,
question.
okay,
Yeah,
James, go
so
ahead.
It's going to use like a sort of like a mix elo. So there's like really like two major factors that have to be considered with matchmaking for Rooniverse. And of course, this is it's early, and elo is something that you're constantly, or matchmaking rating is something that you're constantly tweaking and improving upon. But the Rooniverse is a game of partial skill, but also partial loadout. And those are both things that we want to make sure that we account for. So you want to make sure that players who have been playing the game for a ton of really, really awesome, like really like powerful stuff, are not consistently matched with folks who like this is their first day and they have unlocked nothing, because it is possible to level up your your ruse and their content. It is there is innately a numbers game at the involved there, in which characters can be numerically more powerful than others. Nothing too crazy. Nothing to to be shouting like pay to win over for certain. But the other factor that needs to be accounted for is actual player skill. Players who win more should be matched against players of a similar skill. Now, as far as the mathematics that's involved in calculating what that final matchmaking score like are, that's part of that secret sauce that gets worked through. But those are two of the aspects that we take into account when pitting players against one another.
Yeah, like James said, it's a lot of we have a lot of testing to do, and we want to make a matchmaking algorithm that is not annoying for our players. But what we're going to start off with during the launch is a matchmaking algorithm that takes into account the ruse levels. But after that, when we have more of a player population, a bigger player population, then the matchmaking algorithm is going to take into account their win-loss ratios in our matches. So all the modes are basically multiplayer PvP. Their kill death ratio, and also how upgraded their toys are, which are their weapons.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely something that I think any gamer would appreciate, right? Especially if you get set up on the wrong team, or your teammate, I don't know, is a noob, or there's always some reason, right? We can always blame that one person on the team.
Yeah, 100%. And now that we're in Web3, there's a lot more on the line than just like sweet victory. So we do want to we really do want to take matchmaking quite seriously. Yeah.
Nice. My next question is, how will the Rue Daycare lending platform work?
Do you want me to take this first, Herman? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Root daycare lending is something near and dear to our hearts. We really want to make a great user experience, especially for the competitive gaming scene. So, what Root Daycare is very much built for is for smooth ease of use for team management, especially for esports teams and guilds. Um, Rue characters that will be able to participate in Rue Daycare, as in be able to be lent out, are origin rules. And currently that is about 4,444 of them. Not about, that's exactly how much it is. Those rules are able to be lent out, able to be managed by guilds and teams, such as you guys. Um, and what you can do there is you can, as a lender, or as a team manager, pretty much be able to set the Runium split. The Runium is, of course, our hard currency. We also have the sub currency chips. You'll be able to split the hard currency Runium. You'll be able to decide if the player or the lender gets to keep the incubators or blueprints, which are rare items that you're able to pick up in the game. And you'll also be able to make your list in public or private, or whitelist players that you like. We also will be looking into building two-way listing, which means that how usually in a we are all very familiar with scholarship programs in a lot of Web3 games. With those, NFT lenders are always the ones who get to list themselves. But we would like to, acknowledge and also empower pro players, and they should be able to list themselves as players and have NFT owners come and apply the NFTs to be played with. So we wanna explore that type of thing to make sure that we are catering to competitive players.
Nice. Herman, do you have anything to add to that, or
No, that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
nice? I mean, yeah,
It very
it's
much was designed by him, so I've kind of stolen his thunder a little bit.
Nah, really.
yeah. I mean, that's great to hear. Like I feel like especially a lot of these GameFi projects now, especially working for a guild, there's a lot of cool guild tools that everyone's building, and then like even now, like you're building something that you can do, even you can do like a pure lending system, right? It seems like you can do that too, right?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of models, and we can't really tell with a lot of our features how well or how successful it's going to be when we release it. So it's all down to testing, to getting feedback from our players, from our community. We'll optimize it from there. Yeah.
Nice. Moving forward, so how does a creator tool work? What can players be rewarded through creation and curation?
Yeah, so the creation tool is a feature that we want to roll out next year. First, we want to focus on deploying a really nice core game with a mini real. But next year, one of the features we want to push is the custom map creator, also custom game modes. But I mean, we think that this is a really good fit for the whole NFT thing, to provide real ownership to people who create really cool game assets and get some rewards if they do a good job creating those assets. So the way it's going to work is we are using the token, the ecosystem token, to align content creators and content curators. So people will be able to create maps in the ecosystem that they can either use for themselves to play with their friends in their own map, or they can publish it. They can publish those maps for them to be used in the daily rotation of games. They will also be able to host YGG mods. However, for starting the publishing process, they will be able to stake a number of tokens. After they stake those tokens, those custom maps will go into the curation process, which is players who, or on the other side, let's say the DAO, who's going to be on the other side, people who stake tokens, will be able to create those new maps that get pushed into the system. Now, through that curation, those stakers will be giving a rating to those maps, and that rating will determine the initial visibility of those maps in the rotation of games. So what we're doing here is to, through the token, create just let the community moderate itself in terms of the content that makes it to the regular games. Now, how can players monetize? Well, they will be able to host YGG mods and get a percentage from the wagers that people post, and also the games that get played from the daily rotation of matches in those custom maps, in those player-owned maps, they will get a percentage of the Roonium generated in those games. So, of course, the better the map is, the more games will be played in those maps, and the more they will monetize from it. So, of course, the maps that have been turned into NFTs, so they can make it to the regular games, will be able to be sold as well. There will be map add-ons available as well for people to create even better maps. So that's how we are kind of letting the community, the players, create all those game assets and also curate them to make sure that we remove, there's not a bunch of spammy maps into the system. There's a huge directory of maps that are not nice, because people have to pledge that token for both creating and creating. So that's how it's going to work, more or less.
Oh, that's awesome. Like, I definitely agree with getting UGC content, user generated content out there. Especially it brings the community closer too, right? Having this done, it helps grow. Like people want, like there's different gamers, right? There's gamers that want to build. There's gamers that just want to play. There's gamers that just want to kill or whatnot or make friends. So yeah, I think this is an awesome feature for you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, we're pretty excited about this one.
Moving on. What does a player-owned economy mean?
Yeah, so essentially it means that us as developers, we will never create a weapon and just sell it from a from a central store and set the price for it. In that sense, people will be finding the different items that they have to put together to create new weapons, new equipables, and they will decide the price for it. So every item in the ecosystem will be crafted by the players, and the prices will be driven by the players as well. So as what we are creating is to design the metas, which items will be craftable in each new season, and players will be finding the blueprints and the crafting materials that they need to put together those items. And so yeah, that's what we call the player-driven economy.
Nice.
Yeah, there will absolutely be no situation where the team comes out with a new toy or a new gear and we set the price for it in the shop. How we'll do it, yeah, like Herman said, is we will be sprinkling blueprints, which is used for crafting new items. Players will be able to pick those up, craft the items themselves, and set the prices for them in the Rooniverse P2P marketplace.
Nice. Definitely no more definitely not talking about like what's the floor anymore. So that's definitely gonna solve that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how can players cooperate in Rooniverse? Are there I mean you guys mentioned already there's guilds, but are there player guilds out there?
I'll give a quick answer and then I'll let James go. That because I'm just so excited about player factions. Social aspects are a big part of like why I'm inspired to be in gaming. So player factions are there. I know currently if you have a rule, you know that we have tribes. Those are what the rules are bought with. You can still form your own player faction. We still will be building multiplayer game modes around player factions, around competitiveness between player factions. But yeah, there's other ways to also co-op with each other. We want to make sure that we put in kind of like PVE elements into new multiplayer modes that we introduce in. So we have PVE elements on top of PvP objectives that will be really chaotic and fun. So yeah, that's more ways to cooperate on top of player factions, rule tribes. But yeah, James, do you have any more answers for that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can elaborate on just the concept of game modes. So the Royale is really the flagship game mode for Rooniverse. And when you think about like the Royale, like we have the heart, the beating heart and soul of it is present in present in Rooniverse. But there's just so much that we've talked about doing with this game that we knew that we would be selling ourselves short if we just a single game mode. So from very early on, development decisions were made to allow for multiple game modes, and to allow for those game modes to be built very nimbly, and to allow us to do tons and tons of experimentation. So if you're familiar with games that allow for players to modify game rules, to do things like enable anti-gravity, to big jump, no shields, like all those sorts of like laboratory experimental sorts of modifications. These making good, that's what you intend for the game is well, it's awesome if you can do it. It's something that we've done in the development of Rooniverse. And how that all ties in with like some of these more social aspects is that while at its heart, this is very much a PvP game. The fact that these game modes are going to be playing such a huge role in the rotating list of different game modes and maps that are available to players. We're expecting to see some really fantastic stuff where players aren't always pit up against one another in a very free for all sort of manner, but put into cooperative semi-PvP environments, so on and so forth. So really excited to see how the social fabric grows and strengthens to meet the challenges that the game is going to be presenting to our players.
That's awesome. So, what's the difference between free to play and NFT rules in the game?
Yeah. So I guess the biggest difference would be the ability to earn Runium or not. So since we're going mobile, we have it's very clear that the game needs to be free. So players will be able to create an account. They will download the app. They will create a normal account through email, social, whatever, Apple sign up, whatnot. And in the background, there's going to be a custodial wallet is going to be created automatically as they create the account, and their assets, for example, their character is going to be minted as an NFT in the background to the custodial wallet. And also when the players find NFTs in the game, such as the blueprints or the incubators and whatnot, it's going to get minted as well to the custodial wallet automatically. Now, eventually, if the player wants to claim all those items, they will have to pay a flat fee, a one-time flat fee, to unlock the content of the custodial wallet. And at that stage, they will be considered an NFT player. And once they are an NFT player, they will get the ability of earning Runium in the game. And with Runium, you can just participate in all the premium processes like crafting, doing the seasonal breeding, also buying certain items in the rotative shop of the game. But yeah, that's the main difference, is that with the NFT, they will have the ability of winning the premium token. Yeah.
Nice. That's it's very comprehensive between free to play and I guess play to earn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in your case, it would be create to earn and whatnot, and all these other things that you have going on.
For the land, we do the same. Basically, we create the option of starting to create for free, and if you turn the land into an NFT, you pay a flat fee with a trade cards, because we're trying to avoid as much as we can crypto transactions, having to pay transactions fees with whatever, with Sol or with the token or whatnot. The idea is to let players play with credit card as much as possible. And actually, this is for this this is going to be possible thanks to our tech partner Stardust, which allow all these blockchain process to happen in the background without the user even noticing. Fiat on ramp. So the user experience is going to be very nice. But yeah, for both the playable character and for the land, there's option to play for free. And if you upgrade your character or your piece of land to NFT, you get all those premium perks, like monetizing from your land or the ability to earn the Runium token.
Yeah, we would like to make ownership and creation and curation very, very accessible. So that is why we chose to go with this path. But also, if you would like to play the game without interacting with NFTs at all, you can do that. You're able to download the game and play it just like any other game. And then if you want to be, earning or interacting with the blockchain, having NFTs, then you have the option to do that as well.
Great. And for all our Discord listeners out there and YouTube and everyone else, now is your time to get on Discord and start writing your questions. I guess the team will choose two of the best questions that they see, and hopefully you'll get picked for the prizes later. So yeah, this is my last question of the night. It was really awesome just being able to learn more about your project. But yeah, so what are the phases in releasing Rooniverse features?
I'm gonna do a overview one, and then I'll let James do a detailed one. So basically, we are launching with the flagship mode, which is the mini royale mode. So we're launching with one game mode. Want to make sure it's fun, it's stable. We're launching also with seasonal breeding and the Daycare lending system. The next expansion will be the crafting economy. That's when all crafting materials come in, blueprints, upgrading toys and gears. And then after that, it's when creator tools will roll in. So that includes land plots, user generated maps and game modes, and of course, some of the cosmetics as well. After that, it's all about um, whatever else our users want and what we want to build. So, like I said, it's all up to like what we want to test. You know, James and the engineers are very much specialized in live ops, so we're gonna be, you know, building upon that in our philosophy. But yeah, James, please go ahead.
I think you did a really good job, and I think I can speak more to like the philosophy. I mean, this is a live game. We treat it like it's a live game, and we have a plan on what it is that we're looking to build, and that plan is only partially complete because the other critical missing piece is our players. We've seen tons of cases where uh, uh, a game has been taken too far under some pretty significant assumptions on what players, and it's really difficult to take a game in the wrong direction and then try to like retroactively like pivot away from that. And so we, if looking at our plans, whenever you hear us speak, we have what we know to be the core of what Rooniverse is, and and then we're giving ourselves lots of room to see what our players want next, what they think of it, what features they want expanded upon. Yeah, and that's really core to a lot of our philosophy, is that it's a live game. Our players are absolutes in what it is that we're building, and we want to make sure that we're doing a service to them by simultaneously having a fantastic core experience with enough room for the game to breathe and take on new life if our players want it to go in a different direction.
Nice. So yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, love what you guys are doing. So let's take it over to Discord. There's a lot of questions being thrown in Discord right now. Yeah, this is why I love AMAs. It's just everyone's so hyped up for these prizes. It's nice to get something for them, and also just see all these questions get thrown out there.
I'm actually rating the questions. There's so many, and it is going at the speed of light.
Oh, and this
Oh
is
my
already
god,
I've already slowed it down. I think I have slow mode on.
there definitely is a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, it's very overwhelming. I don't know if any of my co-founders are seeing this, but holy
I
heck.
cannot join the server somehow. But yeah, you can pick Melty and show me a screenshot.
I actually don't know if I'll be able to pick in time because I'm scrolling and there are hundreds of messages. Let me scroll real quick. Okay. Okay. There's one that says, does the team anticipate other developers building their own games inside Rooniverse like Roblox, but cooler and more badasser?
Yeah,
I think James, yeah.
I mean, yeah, like that I think is a big goal of ours, and that happens in steps. But yes, I think it is a major goal of ours to provide our players with tools that are significant enough to allow for them to create their own experiences. There are limitations to that, of course. There we can't expect all of our players to learn how to write code and build like all these geometric assets and do all of the laborious game proper. But it has been a fundamental goal of ours to enable players from the get-go and to expand upon that as the game goes out into the community and beyond. So yeah, short answer to that is that yes, that every decision that we make, every question that we ask, always circles back invariably to what does this mean for our players and their creative capacity.
Great.
Yeah, with the game modes that we bring out, I just want to clarify that we are not at the beginning anyway supporting external mods or SDKs. We want players to be able to build maps and game modes from the world assets that Rooniverse provides. So yeah, we want to kind of look after the safety of our players and our ecosystem in that way. But that is nothing is off the table, in terms of possibilities in the future.
Cool.
I'm still reading questions. There is a lot. Okay, I think this one is appropriate. WB Rex. The first one is from Sally Jack, by the way. The second question is from WB Reckless. I think that's how I'm supposed to pronounce it. He says, I'm not a professional player and I hardly ever play. Rooniverse, on the other hand, has caught my curiosity and I intend to start playing it as soon as possible. Do you believe your game will be easy to understand for someone who isn't a frequent or professional gamer like myself? I want to give a very high level answer that we are building for breadth. So very, very easy onboarding for everybody before we are building for depth. We do want depth in our game, but we want the game to be very accessible. That is why we chose to go with, first of all, mobile. Crossplay is available on PC and Mac as well. We're able to, if we wanted to, port to console, thanks to James's philosophy with his team, which is never constrict yourself to, um, one type of direction. And that's also why we chose to go with quick and snappy game modes. So you'll be able to log on to Rooniverse on your mobile phone, on your PC, Mac, whatever. Get into a game and come out of the game within probably like 5-6 minutes. So we want it to be short, snappy, fairly casual, and easy to pick up for mid-core players. If you want to dive deeper, of course, you can get into crafting. You can get into upgrades, the creative tools, of course, the maps we spoke about before. The progression journey is also quite long that we've designed for the players. So yeah, definitely want to make it super, super easy for you to hop on, be able to play, even if you're completely new and not used to gaming professionally. And yeah, hop off whenever you want.
Sweet. Do you guys have anything else to add to that, or do you guys want to choose another question for our community so there's more prizes for them?
Am I picking the next one again?
Yeah.
I mean, we can give as many prizes as you guys want. I mean, it's all for the community, right?
James, James, do you want to talk about our stacked team of AAA engineers? I think we should address that because one of the questions,
Hmm.
how strong is the Rooniverse's team? Many projects start with good impressions and later abandon the project. I think this is something Herman and I, especially, are so familiar with being in the Web3 space for so long. What makes your project different than others? I think that both Herman and James can definitely answer this in terms of the caliber of both our core team and people contributing, including advisors and partners in our ecosystem.
Yeah, for sure. Answering this, I tend to be rather modest and downplay things. So,
Yes,
forgive
he's
me, and
very
LT, feel
modest.
free to like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
feel free to chime in. um, but yeah, the team is really fantastic. We have like I said, a really diverse group of individuals who come from very different walks of life. They are game specialists, game professionals, and are passionate players of games. Their backgrounds again are super varied, and the games that they've worked on are also like really varied. We have folks who are like competitive shooter specialists. Like that's that's what they've done. Working for big studios like Riot and Blizzard. You have folks who are mobile economist specialists who have worked on like really deep economy like style games like Game of Thrones and Batman and the like. You have like ones who really like specialize in performance and getting games to function on lower performant devices, especially like for mobile and non tier one countries. So you have like we have lots of people who worked on like infinite runners who know how to just get tons and tons of content on the screen running amazing fast speeds. We have like really like amazing artists who work on anything from illustration to 3D to film. One of our like most like awesome animators is like a 15-year Blizzard veteran who like worked on like tons of like their cinematics and worked in the cinematic department. Like there's just tons of like really cool individuals, and at some point you stop looking at them like for their accolades and they just become like friends and people and people. But yeah, they're so it's hard for me to like to think back on the things that they've done. They've worked on some really cool stuff, and they've done this for a long time. I swear, some of them have been in the games industry longer than I've been alive. Yes, it's an honor and a privilege to work with them. And as far as like their staying power, I mean, there's they've kind of been in it to win it for quite some time. The veteran like team that's composed for Rooniverse have been not only like completers of games, but have also been working like together for a long time. So there's already not only like tons of pedigree, but there's tons of just like relationships that have established, and people who already have a history of joyfully working together. So yeah, in a lot of ways, there's it's a great group of individuals, and it's also a great group, a team that has that's really proven themselves and their ability to work together.
Yeah, I just sorry, one second. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. But uh, one of my highest convictions when my when I personally get involved in other projects that is like not Rooniverse is how bonded the team is. And this is an assessment that I take directly from our team because of how long the team has been building together and how long we've known each other. in like different sorts of departments, where the team is bonded and have been creating and producing together for a long time. We know each other's patterns, flaws and strong points, and it really contributes a lot to what you're able to create. So that is something that I feel is a strong point of Rooniverse, and that's something that I look for when I am investing in NFTs or other projects. Of course, on top of the core team that we have help from partners, guilds such as YGG SEA, and we have some external help from organizations and research groups like Navic, for example. But you can read all about that in our deck paper that we have, so I don't have to go into like a deep detail about it. But yeah, the main point is just the history that the team shares together.
Sweet. Yeah. Would you guys want one more question or?
Maybe one last one just before you wrap. Okay, I think this one is pretty easy. It's not general, but it's very specific. So the question is, since breeding causes more roos and roos farm more tokens, will this cause oversupply? If not, can you explain why? Um, I've got a really quick answer for this, which is the fact that breeding in Rooniverse is seasonal and extremely limited and controlled. Breeding is not one of our main features. It is a feature that because you're able to actually produce routes like free to play. The game is free to play, right? And you're able to mint routes, as Herman touched on before. Breeding is there as a fun feature, so it's activated maybe twice or three times a year, which is when we will be releasing incubators through game maps. You'll have to pick them up. You'll have to have 4 routes, one from each tribe, and an incubator to be able to breed, and it will happen at a time where we will release limited traits. So it's really for people to be able to experiment with new aesthetics, limited aesthetics. For example, if we have seasonal breeding released during Halloween, you'll get some traits that you'll be able to get only at that time. So for me personally, I get really sad when there are Web3 games with breeding that causes an oversupply of floor characters. And, they all get dumped on the floor with traits that people don't like. So that was one of the things that we really avoided when we were designing the root characters. We wanted to be completely um, customizable and be able to be loved, by their owners, basically.
Nice. Anyone else or have anything to add to that? Great. Guess not. So yeah. Unless you guys want to choose another question, or yeah, I think Melty, you said that was the final question, right?
Yeah, we have to wrap. There's so many questions in the server. Some of them are super awesome, and we'll try to, when we have time, if possible, go in and answer some of them. Yeah, that's something that I think we're able to do.
Yeah. So, well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules, coming on to this AMA. From the YGC community, I want to say thank you for coming on. Yeah, and educating us more about the Rooniverse and answering all these questions. And yeah, just taking the time out to explain what Rooniverse is.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, I was going to wait for James, but I don't think, or maybe he's on mute. I don't know.
He might be busy with his babies, which he just had. So
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys out in the metaverse.
Thank you guys. See you around.
Thank you
I would
so
like to
much.
be back.
Yeah, can't wait to see you guys in Rooniverse. And the Rooniverse community is having Rumble Games soon, which is our mini tournament that we run very casually. And yeah, we invited YGGC last season, so season 2 will be coming up. We'll send out invitations for you guys.
Great. Thanks, guys. See you guys later.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Bye. See
you.
you.
Well, there you guys have it. Another great AMA with Rooniverse. I hope you guys learned as much as I did because I for sure learned a lot. And now I'm probably gonna see if I can buy an NFT. If not, well, maybe I have to go talk to the co-founders for a free one. But most likely, I'll probably just go get one. All right. Well, I hope you guys stay tuned for next week as we have another AMA. So that's going to be interesting. I'll be in a different time zone. So uh, if you guys want, you guys can take a guess where I'll be next week. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye.